Hey girls, we're going to dive straight in and we're going to talk about hormones today because we are all about the radiant revolution and nothing can make us feel less radiant than raging hormones. Do you agree?
Oh my God,
Totally.
absolutely. I mean, like you say, Joe, hormones can make you insane. And I don't think most people even make the link, like through menopause, a really common emotion is rage. And so, I get these people coming to me and they're like, oh, I just want to kill my husband. In fact, I want to go out and kill everyone. And they're feeling this insane feeling and they think they're going crazy. And they haven't even necessarily made the link to their hormones. And I've spoken with one woman in London and she was like, do you think I could be menopausal? And I'm like, well, what are you feeling? And she's like, oh, I just feel like I want to kill my husband. I went, oh, yeah, that sounds like it. And she's like, and I just feel like I'm going insane. And I went, yeah, yeah. And that is how a lot of women experience it. And obviously some glide through. And we could say, you're all emotionally balanced and therefore you glide through. I don't think that's necessarily always the case. I know people that have terrible emotional trauma going on and they don't seem to have suffered at all. So sometimes it's genetics and then there's other things like exercise, diet, supplements. I mean, there's so many things we can do to help. But the first thing we've got to do is recognize that it is our hormones making us crazy.
Yeah. Hormones drive our emotions. And,
Sure do.
hormones are these little communicators in our body that pick up different stimuli or to trigger an action or to inhibit an action. So when our hormones are out of balance, of course, our emotions are going to be, driving, but it's also putting a little bit of a different perspective on that, because as we come through her story, which is from, infancy through to teenagerism, through to adulthood, through to, when we're having babies, when we're in our reproductive years, through to those perimenopausal years, through to menopause, through to postmenopause, and our wise woman years. We're going through so many transitions and we have to really honor ourselves. And when these emotions come up, they're communicating something to us. They're telling us something is going on, and to really honor that, perhaps we haven't, we might have a wound that needs healing, or we might have some sort of trauma that's come in from generational, like you said, Melly, these generational things, or ancestral wounds. So it's really about healing, and it's not about focusing on the rage. Turn that into your superpower. Turn that into, yeah, I've got this power. How am I going to direct it? And don't feel shame or guilt, because that's one of the things that we can really turn this energy, because it is energy coming through our body. It's just how we're responding to it. And turn it really into something that we're going to be able to use as a positive and give a good perspective on it. Because when we do get these power surges, as we can call them, we can direct that energy and use it for something really that's going to benefit.
I love that. And I love it. And I love, because I think for every woman who can stand in her power and own the fact that we do have hormones, and it's not, as you say, there's no shame, there's no guilt, but there's been such connotations over the years, hasn't there? And I even hear my boys sometimes say, oh, is it the time of the month? And I'm like, why'd you say it in that tone? Because you know what, if you were in my body, I think it'd be a whole different story. They let us do this job for a purpose. Us women carry our eggs. We have more raging hormones. Don't get me wrong. I know men have hormones too. I absolutely, I appreciate that, but they do not have a monthly cycle. They do not have these eggs inside them. They do not feel like they are going crazy the way we do. I remember suffering from terrible premenstrual tension from such a young age and feeling rageful, like for 2 days a month where like I could kill someone or I'd be bad tempered, and it was a horrible place to be. But there was a lack of compassion, there was a lack of understanding, there was a lack of knowledge, there was a lack of kindness, and there was a lack of being revered for being a woman.
And this is really important because we're the portal of life. And I think, I'd like to hit on two things that you said there. We don't honor a man and their hormones and, what they go through, because there is something called andropause, which they go through as well. And we don't, they don't even, honor themselves or celebrate themselves. And coming back to the men, you're that time of the month again. It's a time of the month that needs to be cherished. This is when we can bring life into the world. And I think we've got that story a little bit wrong, where we need to really honor that time and allow women to really cleanse and rest. And, if they need, sit on the whenua and allow their bleed, allow them to cherish that time, because it is a time we can bring life into the world. It's beautiful.
My poor daughter the other day was in turmoil. Like she suffers anyway, and then she's got these horrendous periods, and she sat there about your mental health plummets. And I said, you know what the world needs? The world needs more understanding about this, to allow women to have the time to do what they need to do at the time of the month. Because you know what? I know for me personally, I'm a highly productive person, but when I'm feeling hormonal, I just need to go and hibernate. I need other people to take care of me emotionally and physically. Sometimes that's not possible, so we have to do it for ourselves. But again, it's honoring and doing that for ourselves. What can we do for ourselves at that time? And if the whole world could give women a couple of days off during the time of the month, they'd come back and they'd be even bigger powerhouses. If there was that understanding. Look, I know that's probably not going to happen in our lifetime, but it's, again, it always stems back to kindness, compassion, understanding, knowledge, and just actually celebrating the fact that we are amazing women.
I agree, but I also think that there's another aspect to that, which is we shouldn't actually have to suffer every month. We're not meant to be constantly in pain. Like, this is not our natural state. When our chi is perfect and all our meridians are firing, we are in harmony. And I was put on the pill at 12. Because I was collapsing, I was vomiting, I was passing out. So I was put on the pill very young, and I wasn't sexually active for a number of years after that. But when I found this amazing acupuncturist, who I've refound after 25 years in Sydney, which is amazing, and I'm going to her again. But after going to her for a period of time, she told me when she felt I was ready to come off the pill. And I came off it because I'd tried to come off it several times, and it had been very, very difficult for me going back to the period state that I had been in. And when I came off at that time, I came off it very smoothly and easily, and I transitioned fine, and I was never on it again. So, when we are fully in balance, we are not going to experience the same level of pain and suffering that we do when we've got something out of balance. And I know you talk about this a lot, Bridget, but now we have a lot more information, right? But we also have a lot more distraction and toxins. So everything is kind of rising at the same time. We've not just got more information, we're overwhelmed with information, and a lot of it is conflicting information. And so, one thing that I do think is a beautiful thing, if we could, I would say that every person, not just women, every person, because we are connected human beings, we are not meant to do this alone. We're not meant to be always alone, even though we are meant to know how to fill up our own cup, fill up our own love tank. We are also highly connected beings. And if we could have massage and body work every month, our bodies would suck in that human touch And it's medicine, right? It's medicine, just like herbs, just like supplements, just like food, good food. It's medicine for our energetic self and our skin and our hormones, our endocrine system all responds to touch. So if my children have their period, I put them on the table. I just, I'm very gentle with them, or I massage their hands and feet or things like that, that just soothe them. It's very soothing and calming. And so that would be my top tip. If I could, I would get everyone to have some kind of touch, body work, every month to soothe their soul.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And it's like almost like as well going out and just being in nature as well, because that then calms your nervous system. And when our nervous system is calm, because every system within us is integrated, nothing works on its own, does it? Our digestive system can't work without our nervous system, our endocrine system can't work without the other two. Everything is working in conjunction. And it's about bringing that body, mind, and spirit back to that place of equilibrium, that peace, that center, that grounding. And if we could go out in nature and just allow Mother Nature to hold us in her arms, and as you say, get that. And just when you were talking about touch, my skin was tingling. I was like, oh my God, I want that. I want more of that.
We all want that.
It's about realigning. It's a realigning within nature's rhythms, and that is the frequency that we need to be in. And whether you take herbs, herbs, I use herbs a lot, but I don't harvest around the menstruation. I would never harvest if I was bleeding. I don't bleed anymore, so I can harvest anytime. And actually a lot of my younger Rongoā partners, that they want me to go harvesting with them, because around Rākaunui, and this is a bit backward, some of them have got their ikura, they're bleeding, and you can't harvest during this time. And Rākaunui full moon is the best time to harvest, because it's huge energy, because Marama is out and she's shining her bright lights and enabling the potency of the plant medicines to want to come up into the plant rather than stay in the roots. And so if we harvest before the sunrise, we get this beautiful potent medicine. If we do it with the right tikanga, the right practice and protocols. But it is really realigning within nature. And I love what you said, Melly, coming back to that touch. It's also about being in community with other women. We will realign our frequency and rise our frequency, rise our radiance when we're in community. And so I think that's an invitation for our people to come into community with us, because we're about realigning in this community and building a community where we can all be radiant together, because we've got it within us. We just need to awaken that intrinsic knowing, the realign with ourselves, move our bodies in ways, have this connection. And I think as well, going into that, we talk about the mind, the body, the spirit, but there's a place that we're not talking about, and that is the emotions. We've got this emotional energy that really drives us and builds our identity, builds our stories. And so we can really change in the moment because of an emotion, make a decision in the moment because of an emotion, without sitting with it, and that's sometimes not us, but then we make it us because we've got this shame and guilt around it. So we have to bring this into the model as well. So I think our mind, our body, our spirit, and our emotions, we need to really make it complete. And that goes with the 4 seasons. It goes with our 4 moon phases. It goes with, these 4s, which is coming through hugely at the moment. So yeah.
Oh, I love it, girl. So just as a little summary, Mel's tip is to go and be touched, be massaged, have Bowen therapy, have some kind of that touch therapy, Reiki, hands-on, whatever. And Bridget, you said yours really early on, like, oh, I just love it. I love it. I love it. Use it as a force Use your emotions for good, see what's there. And I think mine is, you just be empowered within your emotions, you know, don't shy away from them. Be empowered within your hormones. Know that they are there doing something, and know that they are telling you things. So the more we can tune in and listen to our hormones, but stand in our empowerment, the better we're going to be and the more radiant. And on your little note about community, Bridget, because we always forget to say this, come join our Facebook group, the Radiance Revolution. We'll put all the links in below, and we have got a course coming out soon. So come join us, and we'll put our little tidbits in the Facebook group, and we will see you soon. If I can stop recording, I don't know where the hell it is.
I did that the other day. I couldn't find the button.